Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So I'm gonna pull cards and I'm gonna just kind of give you guys some messages and kind of things I've been seeing lately, collectively, and just kind of energy and things that we're going through. I just came up here, and so of course Sage decided she's gonna come up here. See her little tail. She's just rubbing on everything right now. So I feel like collectively there's a lot of like confusion right now. There's a lack of clarity. Some really deep stuff is coming up, deeper emotions than you realize, things you probably didn't realize like that you actually felt before. Deeper insecurities, a lot of relationship stuff I feel like has been coming up for the last few weeks. I feel like the last few readings, we've been getting that message, and I feel like it's still coming up. I feel like a lot of people are here. Ooh, okay, bitch. Go get it. Get it. Go get it. Or being given the opportunity to really reflect on the relationships and see what relationships are good for them and helping them to grow and like support each other more. And then also kind of seeing like areas where relationships aren't great and like areas where things aren't going well and those kind of are falling apart, and either they're going to be repaired or they're going to kind of, you know, separate from each other and kind of move on and go on your own path and stuff. So a lot of things that have been kind of like lurking below the surface, a lot of things where you were really uncertain about or you're really conflicted about are going to become more clear. You just might not really understand exactly what's happening or why it's happening. Understanding the timing of stuff. It might be bringing up also like hidden insecurities and hidden fears that you have, ones that are a little bit different than you realized, or ones you maybe thought you healed or thought you dealt with that you didn't. Hi, why are you so cute? Come on, you gonna sit with mom? Give me a kiss. Because why are you so cute and shit? Why is so cute? No, you don't want to come lay? Let me go. Anyway, so I'm just gonna pull some cards and just see what we get. I was gonna say like kind of pulling for like clarity and insight for anything that's been like kind of confusing for us right now. Like, what do we need to know, like, for that? Is that it? Okay. On the bottom, we got Knight of Michael. Time to move quickly. Choose logic over emotion. Sudden change. Okay, so more so with this card, what I get from this Knight of Michael is actually being dedicated to what you want. Like, what is it that you really want, and being dedicated to it. Like, don't be allowing like little bumps in the road or like communication issues. No. Communication issues or things like that to really, nope, I see you, get in the way. Like really move toward what you want. This feels like some of you guys who have been asking like, should I do this or should I not? This is Spirit's like way of saying, yes, you should. Like for the people who have been asking specifically, like if you should do something that is right for you, that you want, that is right for you, that you know is right for you, and that is what you want, and you feel almost like scared to move forward and do it. It feels like there's some element of fear there. There's some element of surprise and unknown. Wow, I just like can't talk sometimes. Some element of surprise or some element of the unknown when making this decision. It feels like very like heartfelt, very strong energy, strong feeling toward this. And this is kind of like, yeah, move forward. For some of you who haven't been asking this and or are not in this situation, what I get from Spirit is like, this is you dedicating energy toward moving forward and letting go of the past and like moving on. Like really making sure that you're making choices that align with what you want. And with the choosing logic over emotion, it's not as literal as that. Kind of what I got with that is being more like understanding to what your needs and desires are and making those choices versus making things out of emotional reaction. Like as in like, don't go and just hang out with somebody and spend time with them because you're feeling lonely, like doing it with people that you intentionally enjoy their company and not reverting back to old fear dynamics of staying in your, you know, comfort. I always say comfort zone and, You're so cute. I see you staring at me. I always say comfort zone in quotes because I call it the familiar zone. It's not really comfortable a lot of times as you're healing. It's comfortable at first until you start healing, and then it's familiar, not actually comfortable. So like, don't revert back to old patterns of going into old emotions and old energy and that type of stuff, and like start making like more logical, sound decisions and making decisions that are moving toward what you want, not away from it. Okay, so we got the Wheel and 5 of Ariel. Interesting. New beginnings, ended delays, a change in direction that offers happiness, which I feel like we might have got last reading. And we got 5 of Ariel. You don't need to go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. So you got a really positive card with a really heavy card. So what I'm getting is like with this Wheel card, it's like, even though you're not really seeing the outward changes right now, you're maybe feeling conflicted, you're feeling confused, and you're not really seeing the outward changes. Those ongoing efforts, those ongoing choices that you're making, and I keep getting the word dedication today, like those ongoing choices that you keep making and that dedication and effort that you keep putting in is what's actually making the wheel change. It's like almost, if you think about it from a metaphorical sense, like you're trying to get the wheel to spin a bunch of times, or you know, a really big wheel to change, and it's like you have to move it slowly in order to do it. But slow movement is better than no movement if you're trying to get it, you know, and trying to move it to a certain place, right? And so it's like, it's just taking little baby steps forward. Like, even if you're scared, taking little baby steps forward toward what you actually want. With this 5 of Ariel, I get just this self-isolation type energy where some of you are almost like, I get the word defensive, but the energy doesn't feel defensive. The energy almost feels very much like an inner child loneliness, like this feeling of like, it doesn't feel empty. It feels almost like sad and like lonely, but wanting comfort. And it feels a lot of like this inner child energy is coming up right now. So if you're feeling this way right now and you're feeling very alone, you're feeling very scared, think about how you felt as a kid, and you'll probably see the correlation, because a lot of what you felt back then, you're actually feeling now, and helping you to like unlearn these patterns. So like, if you were the type of kid where, which I actually went through this, so I'm going to explain it, an example from my life, and hopefully this helps, but relate it in your own way. So as a kid, I got a lot of negative attention. Like if I was in trouble, or even if I wasn't, I was always in trouble, even if I didn't do anything. And so anytime I actually needed love, I needed support, I needed attention, I was ignored. I would cry. I was just ignored. I would say something, I was ignored, or I was whatever. And I always remember just wanting my parents to give me a hug and tell me they love me, tell me like everything's going to be okay. And even though they were the ones pretty much like doing all of these things, I always just wanted that comfort from them. And so like, I remember just a bunch of different things happening, and it was like, I learned that I had to kind of deal with my emotions on my own. And so one of the ways I dealt with it, I think as a kid, is I would read books, and I would kind of go into like fantasy thinking and stuff like that, and kind of escape in that way. So a lot of times when I have a lot of shit going on, I don't really call people. I don't really reach out. I feel like I need to process it on my own and be alone. Like being around people actually makes me usually very, very uncomfortable when I am going through something. And I don't like to process it around people. I like to process it first and then talk to people, which is not always the case. So actually, this is something that's been coming up for me. And I talked about this in the last video I did about getting a therapist, because I was like, I need sometimes just some support and validation, and I need just somebody to run this by, to help me normalize feelings that like, I don't want to say I'm uncomfortable with, feelings I'm unfamiliar with, or things I'm unfamiliar with. So like for me, I've been really strong with my boundaries of like putting myself first and my needs, and actually acknowledging my needs are important. And like, I can't just always pay attention to other people. Like, I can understand what you're going through, but that doesn't mean I should not be asking for my needs to get met still. And so before I was kind of ignoring mine and I was just listening to what other people were saying, and I've been getting a lot better about it. So like as that's coming up, it's kind of triggering me a little bit because I'm like, am I asking for too much? I've always kind of had this conflict, like, am I asking for too much? Is this wrong for me to think this way? Stuff like that. And sometimes just talking about it, getting feedback is helpful to kind of validate, but also for somebody to just kind of hear your pain and sit with you and help support you through it. And a lot of us who do inner child healing where we didn't have that support system or we didn't have healthy coping skills, sometimes like having somebody that's a safe person or somebody who's open and receptive and like listens to us well can help like just sit with us in that and help us heal the inner child stuff. So, you know, it's about kind of like getting to know yourself and your needs, and like if there is something you want or you need, like asking for it or seeking that like support or help or whatever it is you need. What card just fell? The Knight of Michael just fell back out. They just showed me sudden changes, the words on the card, and kind of the sense like when I just saw that was almost like out of nowhere, something's going to shift. Like you're not even going to know it because it's going to happen so out of the blue that like you're not going to expect it at all. And then like it's almost like after you're done learning a lesson or after you're finished with the cycle, like something's just going to suddenly shift. Man, I literally can't fucking talk today. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, 4 or 5. So like, yeah, I do not blame myself for that. Okay. We got Rest and Rejuvenate with New Beginnings. Look at that. New Beginnings. 2 out of 2, man. I don't know when the next new moon is, but I'm getting like something with the next new moon being really important for, hold on, like, making a decision or something like that, which we got the Movements, Choices, Decisions cards. But I keep, Alexa, when is the new moon?
New moon will start on November 13th, 2023 at 4:27 a.m. and it will end on November 13th, 2023 at 4:27 p.m.
Fuck, I literally just forgot what she just said. November 13th, I think she said. Alexa, when's the new moon? Oh my God.
New moon will start on November 13th.
November 13th. Okay. I started listening to the time she said and I'm like, oh, I know that. Whatever. November 13th. Today is November 3rd. Yeah, November 3rd. So in 10 days. Okay. So I do get like, and they're like, yeah. So I do, actually, they said November 12th to me. So, okay. But then I just asked her and she said November 13th. Okay. So the 12th or 13th, the 12th or 13th, roughly, it feels like this might not be for everybody, but it feels like some type of big decision that's going to need to be made. And you're either going to move toward what you want or you're going to kind of stay stuck in the past. For the people who are going to choose to stay stuck in the past, it feels like you're going to repeat another cycle of whatever lesson that did not complete. And for the group who's moving toward new beginnings, it's almost like I'm getting this fresh start energy, like something is going to open up for you and expand for you. And it's going to be like a fresh start. Even if it's not necessarily something new and it's something that's reignited, it's going to be like, oh, like a clean slate and a fresh start is what I'm getting. So this also feels like for a lot of you is, when you don't have a lot of stuff going on, like appreciating the resting, when you don't have a lot of stuff going on and making sure that like you're taking the time to take care of yourself and that you actually are resting, like that you're actually, like honoring your body and your needs and listening to it. And I love how I said that after I got like no sleep, but that wasn't my fault. I actually tried to go to sleep and like I was in a weird ass fucking energy and it like kept me up so fucking late. And then I like literally tried to go to sleep. I'm like, shit, I gotta wake up for work. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I ended up just keep waking up. So I was like, whatever. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't get mad about it. I just try to like relax because I'm like, if I can't fall asleep, I can't fall asleep. Like, there's not much I can do about it. Try to like listen to, you know, my calming music and like hold my crystals and just like get comfy. But sometimes you just can't sleep. So Okay, we got movements, choices, decisions, balance. I don't know why the hell my throat just like, it felt like in my throat when I just read that. Not like a sickness, it literally feels like an energy just stabbed me in the throat. And it was so weird. Let me feel into that because that was weird as fuck. I feel like some of you, it's a communication problem. Like, I think that's like the energy it felt like. It almost feels like, hold on. It's almost like this energy of like wanting to communicate, but feeling like fucked if I do, fucked if I don't type shit. Like a no-win kind of situation. But Spirit's saying like, that's just your perspective, not reality. It almost feels like for some of you, it feels like you've been really like repressed or shut down with actually communicating. So some of you guys, it's like you're almost like pulling that like metaphorical like dagger out and you're learning how to open yourself up and communicate again. Moves, those choices, decisions is that card. I forgot if I showed you these. And then this is the balance card. Oh, excuse me. I keep getting the word commitment with this card. What's interesting is the words I keep getting, commitment and dedication, since doing this reading. Like, I keep getting this, like, commitment, dedication. So, there's something, like, they're saying the word duality. There's something, like the light and the shadow. And there needs to be a balance with it. There needs to be an understanding and emphasis on it coexisting and working together and one not like taking over the other. Like if you think of like the yin yang, like we need to have a balance, right? If we have too much of one, it's going to weigh us down. If we have too much of one, it's going to lift, like, you know, we're going to be too flighty. Like if we're talking, you know, like one that's going to like bring us up and we're going to float away. One that's going to like weigh us down and, you know, push us down. We need things to like reciprocate and balance out. And it feels like some of you guys are going into that dark ego energy too much and like not using your shadow self for what it's supposed to be. And what the purpose of like the shadow self is to see your hidden feelings, your hidden like emotions, and to understand yourself better. And to help you to, like, Spirit's just kind of saying, like, get to know yourself better, and understand kind of like your hidden motivations, like why you're thinking the way you do, why you're feeling the way you do, what is it that you're feeling, and helping you to just gain a broader understanding of yourself. But for some of you, it feels like you're using it and you're feeding the emotions of like anger and sadness and pain, like heavy, dark energy. You're feeding that. And that's why you're feeling so weighed down, because you're not actually using it to actually help uplift you. You're using it to weigh you down even more than you already feel. And there needs to be a balance. I do get like some type of energetic reset or some type of energetic balance is going to come. I keep seeing in my head November 17th and 18th. Holy shit, I just started getting so fucking dizzy right now. The energy is so fucking intense. That's definitely why I couldn't sleep last night. I could literally feel it. I don't know what the fuck's going on like last night and today. The energy is so fucking intense. Oh my God. I feel like harsh realities have been like happening the last few weeks too, like really hard ones. But I do get like some type of energetic emotional reset, and I keep getting like November 17th, 18th. So I don't know if that's like when it's going to start or something's going to happen to like trigger that, you know what I mean? Like a series of events or a series of situations that are going to happen to trigger that, like almost like a domino effect. So then you get the emotional reset, like it's going to bring all this shit up for you to have the emotional reset. I'm not sure if it's going to happen on that day or that day is going to be the start of it triggering stuff, is kind of what I'm getting. I didn't get like an exact answer on it though, like exact clarity on it. Okay. Oh my God, I literally have so much fucking third eye shit going on right now. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's get like another message from here. Communication. Shocker. Divine masculine. Is that it? Did we get this last time? I know we got the Divine Masculine card, and I'm pretty sure we also got the Intuition card last time too. Those two came out separate too. So for some of you that, like I saw, that have faith in your intuition, for some of you, it feels like you're actually opening up to spiritual awareness and starting to work through doubts, work through fears, work through lacks of clarity with it. And you're starting to kind of question things to help you to gain a better understanding of where you're still not trusting, like to help you to understand better for your own specific thing, where you're still not trusting, and to help you to trust in your intuition more, and to become, not used to it, that's the wrong word, to become, wrong words, more in tune with it and more reliant on it and trusting in it, versus the outside shit that like you're seeing, like becoming more trusting and aware and like in tune with it. So we got communication and Divine Masculine. Some of you, that's actual literal as fuck, is like there needs to be a conversation between you and a masculine, or the masculine that needs to have a conversation with you. Like I got the words heartfelt, and it just feels very emotional. It just, like it makes me want to cry. It just feels really emotional. It feels like the masculine needing to like open his heart up and really just kind of share his emotions, and in a very vulnerable way. And just, it feels like the conversation, if this relates to you, is just going to be a very empathetic, understanding conversation to help him heal something. Almost like people don't see him for who he is, and like maybe you do see him for who he is, and like, and he knows that, like if this relates to you, he knows that. But it feels like him knowing he can count on you and stuff like that, and it's just like he's working up the courage to be able to be like emotionally vulnerable with you and have some type of conversation, and for in some way like you might give him comfort or support, or just kind of like understanding or clarity or something like that. And I just get it's going to help him heal like a feminine wound, like a mother wound or a feminine wound, or maybe something with like an ex or something like that. It feels like a little mix of all of it. So it might be one or more of those things for you, if that's for you. I don't know why I keep getting like this very just emotional, vulnerable, heartfelt conversation, and I just kind of get like a fresh start, like almost like just like a fresh start after that, kind of like the message I got earlier, like the clean slate thing, like that. All right, let's do one more thing, and then damn, is that it? I'm getting so fucking dizzy. They're doing so much shit to my fucking third eye right now. Oh my god. Okay, so we got victim mentality with ascended masters. Immediately get divine timing with this situation, and a lot of you that are sabotagers, like self-sabotagers, and I don't say that in like a judgmental way, I just say that in a way for you to understand what I'm talking about, because I feel like that's like just a very clear way of communicating that so people know without having to explain. But like if you are one of those people who is a self-sabotager, a lot of you are starting to really have to face that. Like you're really having to see where you're sabotaging and you're standing in your own way. And like, if that's you, or like things that you're doing that hold you back from what you actually want, things that hold you back from actually stepping into your power and the like true like soul being, soul worker that you are, like the light worker you are. But I keep getting something with divine timing with this, and like working through what you need to, and like in the right timing, things are going to adjust and change, and you're going to understand things a little bit more clear. They're showing me the Lotus on this card, which is interesting because I keep being drawn to it. Not for me, just energy wise, I keep like seeing. I was actually trying to order these like wood boxes for the shop. And I keep being drawn to order the lotus box specifically. That's, well, the yin yang too. I love yin yangs though. But like the lotus, and like the lotus, if you think about it, it grows from like dirty, murky water. You don't see it growing, but when it comes out, it blossoms as this beautiful, you know, flower that essentially literally grew from like water and dirt. And it's almost like this metaphor of like, even in like the roughest storms and like the dirtiest, darkest place that you're in, you can grow something beautiful from this, and you can grow your light from this. Like, it just takes time and patience. And I'm going to bring just something up briefly. I'm going to tell you the other two cards and then be done. But like, just bring this up briefly. So I was talking to somebody today at the shop, and it's like, but when am I going to feel better? But how am I going to feel better and all this stuff? The thing is, you're never going to start feeling better until you do your work. You're never going to heal stuff until you do the work. And the only way to really do that is to sit with your emotions and your discomfort and face them and make different choices, change your behaviors toward what you want, and working through the discomfort of all the shit from the past and all of the times that you probably weren't making the best choices for you with the mindset you have today. You're making the best choices for yourself then with what you needed. But when you're in a different space, you might look back on your past and wonder why you made those choices. But back then you had different needs, you had different perceptions and different level of awareness, and you probably weren't as healed as you are today. So like, don't be hard on yourself. But sometimes we have to go backwards and we have to face these feelings and these things to help us understand why we made those decisions, to help us heal the root cause of certain things, right? Like, that's really important to do. And so when we were talking, somebody, like one of my friends was in there, and that was like kind of the conversation. And she's like, Brittany's been healing for like years. And it's like, I have, because in my 20s, I was really dealing with a lot of trauma from my stepmother for a lot of it, and not really actually seeing the reality of other toxic behaviors and other issues that went on in that house, or other things that actually happened to me. And then in my 30s, when I had my awakening, started realizing my own behaviors that were not fucking good, and started realizing like things with my father, and started realizing all of my bad relationships, friendships I started working on, I think in my late 20s, but like that type of stuff, and like started seeing things different, started seeing my own patterns and stuff. So, you know, my 20s, a big chunk of that was really dealing with a lot of like major traumas that were very obvious ones. And my 30s has been really dealing with, you know, deeper shit, but like actively trying to work on it and heal it. 5 years, I'd say, maybe close to 6. And the thing is like, am I fully healed? Of course not. Like, I'm still dealing with stuff, and I still have stuff coming up that I didn't know. And it's like, things take time to heal, especially when you have so much trauma and you have all that residual trauma that attached to all these other wounds. You have the source trauma, and then you have the repeated like trauma that attached to all that. So it's like you kind of unravel it in a spiral until you get to the center, and you want to clear all of it out. So it's like being patient. But I said this in like the other video, the thing with me is like, even though I have all this stuff going on, and it probably was like the most emotionally painful week that I went through, I also had this stability and this understanding and this strength, this internal strength that like, I'm good and I can get through this, like I'm okay. And just acknowledging the feelings for what they were, realizing how strong I actually am to be able to acknowledge and face this stuff that was really, really fucking hard for me to face, and doing that. So it's like, even if you're healing through that period of time, you grow in your power, and you start empowering yourself, and you start changing stuff, and you start setting boundaries. So even as you're healing, all of the extra shit that it always feels like it's being piled on you, you don't have all that extra pile. You can just focus on what you're needing to. And then you also can have better and healthier relationships and other outside, like external things that are good. So you're not going to feel so heavy as you're going through stuff. So even though it's going on for a long period of time, you're not always in that lonely, heavy, dark night of the soul energy for an extended period. But the healing is, you know, going on. And like, healing is not always a painful thing. It's not always a bad thing, because as you're healing, it can just bring awareness to stuff and help you to change your perspective and just change your behaviors and stuff. It doesn't always have to be painful. Usually it's painful when we're healing traumas and we're having to face really deep belief systems we have and having to realize like how skewed those were, just they're skewed, I guess. I don't know another way to say it, but yeah. So anyway, just my point is be patient with yourself, and at the right time, things will start looking better. Things will look up. Things, when I was first going through it a few years ago, it honestly was like every day, all day, I felt like just all this heavy, dark ass energy, all this trauma. I couldn't stop fucking crying. I had all this shit going on. And like after that dark ass period of time passed, like I did have other stuff coming up, but all of that shit I worked through, that I had other stuff coming up, but like it's gotten to the point where it's not like it used to be. It doesn't just weigh you down. It's an appreciation for yourself, an appreciation for the effort, and to continue to take care of yourself and do the work. It's the same thing with like a relationship. You don't just get in a relationship and then it's just like magical. You have to put effort and work and time into it. So maybe just change your perspective on what it is you're putting time and love, and you're feeding that love back to yourself, your soul, to yourself, and that's what you're doing. Don't just look at it as this like I have to be at this end result. Like that's just not realistic, and it's gonna put like pressure on you that's unnecessary. So okay, I don't even know if I said this, stuck energy and fragmented energy. I think those are like the only two energy cards in the whole fucking deck, and I love how it's a feminine and a masculine. Okay, so with the stuck energy, we're doing this as masculine and feminine because that's what I'm getting. So with the masculine energy, it actually feels like them knowing kind of what they want. They're kind of like having a lot of daydreaming or reflecting and trying to figure out like kind of clarity on what they really want for their future. But they're feeling really like stuck in their emotion, and it almost feels like they're feeling like numb and not really sure how to handle situations or kind of what to do about it. Like it's like they're unlearning old stuff, and it makes them feel like they're stuck. They're not. They just think they are because of the old energy they're feeling where they were stuck, where they couldn't move forward. And I just get this, like the masculines are learning how to step into their power. Like a lot of them have been holding themselves back from all their potential, and they're learning to step into their power. But the advice I have from Spirit is just little baby steps forward is going to help push that in a bigger way than you don't have to jump to the end result and like, go through like all like, think it's just this long result. It's little baby steps and little choices that you're making that will bring that in for your future. And it might happen sooner than you think is what Spirit said. With this fragmented energy in the feminine, it feels like a lot of emotional whirlwind, and it feels like the feminine's getting a lot of like past traumas and past memories coming up to help put pieces of the puzzle and clarity to some type of cycle they're stuck in. Feels like both of these are like cycles, just you're not really seeing the full picture on them is what it feels like. But the feminine, it feels like is like allowing the emotions, and kind of what Spirit's saying is allowing the emotions to flow and just calming your internal energy and allowing the emotions to flow, and realize that your emotions are just how you feel, and they relate to look at what your emotion is telling you and how it relates to like something that happened that's coming up for you. It's just trying to give you a piece of the puzzle and show you something. It's trying to give you some type of understanding or clarity. So like say you were in a relationship with somebody and they hurt you. So you're feeling really angry. Why are you feeling angry? You feel like, I literally can like hear it in my head and I just cannot fucking like get it. Not betrayed. Oh, we'll just say betrayed. You're feeling very betrayed. Well, how did that make you feel? It made me feel like out of control. It made me feel like my power was taken from me. You see what I'm saying? So like that anger is really like a deeper issue of, so I allowed somebody to take my power, meaning I gave my power up. And then now that you're at a higher level of healing and you're at a higher level of awareness, you see where you want to be in your power. This is important to you to not give your power up. So you're having to face those deeper emotions where you didn't, but also it's giving you clarity and insight of how you used to give your power up. So you know what changes you need to make in order to not do that. And the masculines might be getting some of this energy too, is what they just said. But I do get a lot of the feminines are getting this to kind of clear things up and end cycles. So anyway, I hope it gave you guys some like clarity and insight into everything that's going on. And I feel like I need to say it again, is like things will make sense at the right time. Everything that you're feeling isn't going to last. Things will make sense at the right time. Excuse me. But sometimes it requires you being patient and stop trying to control when you want to be done with something or how you want it to be done or what you want it to look like, and just letting go of all of those expectations and releasing them so you can flow and trust that all the things that are coming to you are helping you to grow and helping you to like unlearn things that aren't helpful to you and bring you to what your actual goal is, like what your ultimate desire is, and helping you to get there and helping move you forward and like taking steps forward. So anyway, I hope it helps and I hope you guys have a good night.